Hey everyone, it's Jenna Melanson from Canadian Beats Media. Today I'm joined by John from the Toronto-based band Napoleon for our latest segment of Zoomies. Welcome, John.
Hey, how we doing?
Good, and you?
Very good, thank you. Thank you for having us.
My pleasure. So first off, care to introduce Napoleon to our listeners?
So we are a post-hardcore band from Toronto. We've been around for about 5, 6 years. We've been touring around Canada for the last couple years too, and we got a new EP on the way called Dear God. It's coming out on May 31st. We're really stoked about it.
Okay. So as you mentioned, your upcoming EP, Dear God, is coming out on the 31st of May. Um,
Yep.
it seems to delve into some heavy themes. What inspired you to explore faith and self-doubt in the project?
Um, yeah, so I would say these are definitely the like thematically the heaviest songs, like you said, that we've ever put out. Um, I come from a religious family, um, and a lot of my time growing up, I kind of saw a lot of people who were religious and whatnot. And obviously, that's okay. Like, I'm not judging anyone who has any sets of beliefs or anything. That's a really like important distinction for me. I'm not against religion. I'm not against people who have their faith or anything like that. But what I am very strongly against are people who use that as an excuse to not respect other people, who look down on other people who don't have those same sets of beliefs. So, or maybe someone who does have the same sets of beliefs but doesn't follow it as religiously as you do. You're not a better Christian or a better Jew than someone else because you do X, Y, and Z while they don't. Right? Everyone has their own sets of beliefs and values, and that's okay. And you have to respect other people. But when you start using your religion as an excuse to not do that, that's not okay. Same with people who use like religion as an excuse to be racist or homophobic or anything like that. Like I'm very, very strongly against that.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, I've seen quite a bit of it, and it's just something I'm not okay with.
Well, I agree with you. Um, each track on the EP appears to offer a unique perspective on various themes: faith, doubt, personal struggles. How did you approach crafting the songs individually to convey these themes effectively?
Um, that's a tough question. Um, all the songs were written around the same time, obviously, but it wasn't really intended for it to be. It wasn't really intended for them all to follow the same sort of theme. It kind of just happened.
Okay.
Um, If I Go is maybe the only one on the record that doesn't talk about religion. That one's more just about like self-doubt and um, like those kinds of themes, like which is probably the most unique one. The other three all deal with religion directly. I would say the single we just put out, Help Me, is the one that's the most like direct. It's very it's very much like straightforward. Like it's about like it tells like the story of a guy I know in real life person, like it's a true story. A guy who became very, very, very into his religion, and he took it very far. And eventually, his wife left him. His kids left. His kids like don't speak to him or anything. And it was really upsetting to kind of watch it happen because he didn't understand why it was happening to him. So he was like, "Well, I'm doing what I need to do to serve God." Meanwhile, like in his actual day to day life, everyone's kind of just cutting him out and he's completely by himself. Um, Lord and Savior is another one that's really direct. It's all about I've always wondered ever since I was like in grade school. I've always wondered, why do these horrible things happen if God is so great, right? If God has the control of everything, why is there war? Why are there murderers? Why are there things like that? Like why do these things happen, right? Why can't God intervene?
Yeah, it's something I've often wondered too.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sure
I
a
don't.
lot of people have those thoughts.
Yeah, and again, it's important for me to make the distinction. I'm not against anyone who believes anything at all. It's just these are my own personal feelings.
Hmm. Definitely. Okay, so you've transitioned to a more post-hardcore metalcore sound on this EP.
Yeah.
What influenced the musical shift?
Um, well, I've always been more into that kind of music, like personally, and I've also always been the main songwriter in the band.
Okay.
Um, During this EP, we went through some pretty like substantial lineup changes compared to the last one. So we have a new guitarist, a new bassist with us now. And it was really the other two guys in the band before who were like really pushing for the more like radio rock kind of sound.
Hmm.
Um, and I was always kind of trying to push the band to be heavier, and it was always kind of this like struggle we had. Not that I'm not like talking smack on them or anything, but like it was kind of just like the creative flow, like that was what was going on.
Hmm.
But I wrote this EP almost virtually by myself because that's just how it worked out, and I didn't really have that kind of struggle. I kind of just wrote what I wanted. And also back in I believe it was 2022, we put out a song called Full Size Problem,
Hmm.
which was definitely a like a step in the heavier direction for us. And I believe to date it is still our highest streamed song. So it definitely seemed to be like what clicked with us. And when we play the song live and stuff, it definitely gets like the biggest response.
Hmm.
So it kind of just became like more and more apparent to us, like this is what kind of band we are. Like why would we not try and like delve into that, especially since that's what I've always wanted to do anyway.
Yeah, that's great.
So kind of worked out.
So collaborating with Scott Middleton of Cancer Bats seems to be a significant achievement. Um,
Yep.
how has his involvement influenced your sound or direction of the band?
Scott definitely Scott's done quite a bit for us in terms of like shaping up like how our band operates and how we function as a band.
Hmm.
Because when we went to him to record back in I think it was 2019, it was very apparent that we didn't know what we were doing, and he was very like patient about it. But I remember we did like pre-production for like the first song in this room right here actually, and I remember at the end of it he said, "Hey, can I talk to you?" I was like, "Yeah, totally." He's like, "So you guys have no clue what you're doing?" I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "That's okay, but you're gonna have to be patient here. Like, I'm not trying to like dunk on you guys, but like we gotta like work." And that's really what we've been doing for the last like 4 years since then. He's
Okay.
like always pushing us to be like a better band, and he's always helping us make like better business decisions and
Hmm.
really like shaping our idea of what like Napoleon actually is. Because even if you go back and listen to like our older songs, you can see they're really like all over the place and there's no like direction there. It's kind of just like, I would write a song, we'd record the song, we'd put it out, we'd play a
Hmm.
show in Toronto, maybe one in Hamilton, and we were kind of just like hoping for the best, and then nothing would ever happen because we weren't really actually making any real efforts. And he's kind of like pushed us to be like a real band and make real band decisions.
Hmm. It's great to have someone there who's willing to help you grow in the right direction too.
Yeah, absolutely. We're very grateful for him and everything he does for us.
Hmm. So you shared the singles "Help Me" and "Heartless" in advance of the EP.
And if
What?
I go,
Hmm?
and if I go,
Oh, okay. So you've shared three of the four.
yeah.
Oh, okay. So I was gonna say what made you choose these two songs as singles, but if there was three,
Oh.
was there
Um,
any reasoning behind you wanted those three released?
to be brutally honest with you, if I go, we put out like a while back. It
Okay.
was really the only one that was ready, and we had all these tour dates booked, and we wanted to have like something new.
Okay.
So that was an easy choice. Like it was the only one that was done. Heartless and Help Me were well, the music videos in those two songs connect.
Hmm.
So that's really why we chose to put them out in that order. I think originally the plan was not to release Help Me in advance. Like I think the video was supposed to just come out the day that
Okay.
the EP would. Um, and then some decisions were made that I was not really a part of, and I was just told this is what was happening. So I was like, okay, whatever, we're cool. As long as it all comes out, I'm happy.
Yeah, for
But
sure. That's the
Help Me
goal.
is my favorite. Yeah, Help Me is my favorite Napoleon song. I think I think it's just it's like the one like I think it's the one song I've ever written that like came together like really really easily. Like the
Mhm.
lyrics, everything was like right away, and even like when we did pre-production on it, we didn't change anything. It just stayed like exactly the
Yeah.
same. And we've been playing it live for a while too, like well before it came out, and
Mhm.
we always getting really good reactions. Like people were always coming up to like the merch table and stuff and telling me that they really like that song, and I can't wait to hear the actual version. So I knew right away it was like something that song was kind of going to be like something special for us.
Yeah.
And the response to it has been like great right out the gate. Even Heartless 2 also has been doing really well, which is really awesome to see.
Okay. So the next 5 questions are just for fun. What was
Yep.
the first concert you ever attended as a fan?
Um, I think I went to see U2 at the ACC when I
Okay.
was like a very young teenager.
All
They were
right.
like my favorite band when I was a kid, so that was kind of cool for me.
That's awesome.
Obviously I've gone a very different direction, but you know.
What's the most unusual or unexpected song that you've covered in a live performance?
Oh, this past summer we did As It Was by Harry Styles.
Okay.
It was very
Yeah.
funny. We literally just did it like as like a big joke. Like we would do like up till the second chorus and then play this like very over the top insane breakdown. And it was funny because like we did a lot of shows playing with like these like really intense hardcore bands, and they were like, "What the fuck is this band doing?"
If you could tour with 2 fellow Canadian bands, who would you choose?
Ooh. I would say like my dream, like if I could have anything, would be Alexis on Fire and Billy Talent.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are the two bands that are like the reason that like I decided to start a band like this. Like Alexis on Fire was like the band that got me into like screaming music, and like that was the reason I decided I want to learn to scream. And like Billy Talent was like the first like you know I don't want to say not mainstream because they're obviously a huge band, but like they were like the first like more aggressive band I ever like really got into.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
So
would
I
say
think
those
I
make
would,
sense.
yeah, you can probably hear it in our music too. But that would be like a very full circle thing for me.
Okay. If oh, with spring in full swing, what's your favorite outdoor activity in the warmer weather?
Um, I do really like going to shows outside. I have to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
That's always been like that's kind of always something I'm like really looking forward to in the summer.
Yeah, definitely.
I hate cold weather, to be honest with you. Like I'm not strong for that. So anything outside when the weather's good, especially in Canada, we don't get too much of it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not a cold weather person
Yeah, no.
either.
Oh no. No, I don't have
And
patience for that.
last but not least, with spring and summer comes barbecue time. What's your favorite food to throw on the grill?
Um, Probably a steak. I don't know, we all like steak.
Yeah. And that's it for Zoomies. Thank you for joining me and congratulations on the EP.
Thank you so much. Thanks again for having me.